That was horrible.
Hello, he's Derek.
What are you doing? No, say your name, because we cold open after we say our names.
Oh no, I'm Isaac.
Yeah, you're Isaac. I'm Derek.
You didn't tell me we were just going to jump in like this.
That was horrible.
That was horrible, yeah. A podcast where we listen to the worst in horror, so you don't have to.
Yeah. Wait. It has been something like 30, 40, 60, maybe 12 episodes. And I think
we have a definite number.
I can't say horrible.
Horrible. We have created the worst name for people to try to say. Because, like, if I tell someone and they try to tell someone else, they're going to have to do the whole explaining bit.
You're like, wait a minute. You're horrible? No. Horrorble. And it's not like we could go back and change it at this point because it's been like 17
like 30,
episodes.
70, 80 episodes.
I think this is currently 17.
Yes.
This is our 17th episode. And I can't say horrible.
No. Horrible.
But
the thing about the pun is that, like, it works so well. It's like it slips right in. You think it's just horrible, but it's horrible.
Would you say that it swims in?
It swims on in like a little guppy with teeth.
Would you say that it flies in?
I would not say that. Fish don't fly. That's crazy. Don't be crass. Come on now.
Crass. Like the type of apple. Crass apple.
I'm trying to see where you're going with this one.
I don't think I'm going anywhere with this one. Anyway, wait, did we announce ourselves?
We did. We told them who we are. What are we watching?
I'm Derek.
And I'm Isaac.
Did you know? Did they know?
At this point, 70 episodes in, do you know who we are?
Respond.
Oh, yeah, good. This is like Dora.
I think I heard him.
Did they clap? Did they clap in Dora? Like, yay, good job. You know who we are. Do you think we've ever created the problem for people where it's like, I don't know which one's Isaac and which one's Derek?
Probably, because I'm Isaac.
Oh, okay. Switching it up on us.
No, that's actually like a thing, though. I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and it's always interesting to see pictures of the people after listening to them for a long time. And you're like, oh, that's that person?
That's definitely jarring, but it's also just like, there's sometimes when people, I don't know, I guess we don't sound that similar to each other, but sometimes I have a hard time differentiating the two voices between each other. I'm like, I understand these are two separate things, but who's who? Which is which?
Which one? I had a dream about which is which.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like...
A dream or a nightmare?
That's up for you to decide, audience. Call us, send us an email. Is that a dream or a nightmare?
Call us at 555-555-horrorable.
But wait, horrible.
Oh no,
isn't enough numbers.
What did we watch this week?
Wait, I was telling a story.
This is your story. What's your story?
Wait, I don't remember.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wait, yeah. No, I was having a dream.
Oh, that's right.
I don't remember anything about the dream, but there was like a noise in the background, and it was just us going wish.
That does sound kind of scary for that to just be happening in the background of another dream. Can we dive into this movie? We can't just say that every time we watch a water-based movie.
Wait, how many water-based movies have we watched by now?
Enough for us to have done that bit many times.
Why do we keep watching water movies?
Because water is scary.
Why don't we watch Waterworld?
Waterworld.
Isn't that a movie?
I mean, it is a movie, and it did poorly, I think.
Waterworld.
It's still an attraction at Universal Studios, so I guess it didn't do that bad.
It was a 1995 film. It's not a horror movie, though, but it does have Kevin Costner in it.
That's horrifying,
and
am I right?
Dennis Hopper. Hey, that's funny. And who the heck is Gene?
So Derek's going to look at Waterworld. This week we watched Piranha II: The Spawning. Yes, it's a very scary sounding movie. We did not watch Piranha 1 because we're like, we don't need it. And after watching it, I definitely don't feel like I needed it.
Which is funny because Piranha 1 is actually like revered. People like it.
Yeah, it's
got like good reviews and stuff. And then Piranha 2 sucked, and they pretty much go downhill from there.
Yeah,
they also go double D from here because everyone after him has 2 D's in the title.
Yeah, for some strange. I don't understand it.
Must be referring to the brassiere size.
Who knows? God knows what's going on there. All right, tell me some info about this movie.
I would love to get started. So we decided to watch this movie because Emily was like, "Hey, you guys should watch." Like one of my favorite directors' worst movies. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting idea. So we did.
Because she was like, She was like, oh yeah, there was Clive Barker with Rawhead Rex, right? That was great. And so then she brings up James Cameron. I'm like, okay, maybe he's made a bad movie, but surely he hasn't made a bad horror movie. She's like, nope, here it is.
Right here
Piranha 2, The Spawning.
You guys are fools.
I couldn't believe it, but here it is. We watched it for your entertainment.
It exists.
Yeah.
All right.
And is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? You be the judge. Or we'll judge. We'll tell you at the end.
Our sources for this episode were IMDb, Wikipedia, Fandom Kill Count, and Rotten Tomatoes. Any extras from you that I didn't catch?
All my stuff. Right up in there.
So, Piranha 2 was made in 1982. It was directed by James Cameron.
That's right. You heard that right. Mr. James Cameron.
It was written by Charles H. Eagley, but if you forget put punctuation in there, it's Charles Hegley.
Charles Hegley.
Ovidio Asontis, which I read for the first time, and I thought it said ass on tits, but that's a different story.
Oh, no.
His name... I accidentally wrote James Cameron Water, but...
I mean, the man does love water. We might as well just put it in his legal Christian God-given name.
All right. So James Cameron was initially brought on to actually be like the special effects coordinator guy.
You have to call him James Cameron Water now forever.
Sorry. Yeah, please erase that last section from your brain. James Cameron Water was brought on as the special effects guy for Piranha 2. And the original director was Miller Drake, but he was actually fired around principal photography because of like script disagreements. They couldn't agree on things with the script, which maybe Miller Drake was right. Maybe?
I think maybe he was right.
So James Cameron got promoted to director, which actually is his directorial debut. This was his first movie, which is kind of crazy. Other movies you may know by James Cameron,
just some lower like indie films. Yeah,
he made one called Martini Ranch.
He
made a short called Xenogenesis. What's this one? Terminator 2?
Terminator. That's probably nothing. Skip that one.
That's probably nothing. Expedition Bismarck.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
How long can I keep this bit going? Avatar, The Way of Water. Okay. Yeah, he's a very cool director. You know him, you love him. Hey. I mean, really, though, he is a great director. He's got some of the highest grossing films of all time, like Titanic and Avatar.
Yeah,
so it's insane. It is insane that he directed this movie.
It is really funny to me, though, because like once I heard that James Cameron was behind this, I was like, oh man, are we about to watch a 3-hour terrible horror movie? I don't know if I've got that in me. We got to like put in our own intermission so I can go to the bathroom in between.
Yeah, when we were looking for a way to watch this movie, we found 3 VHS tapes and we're like, ooh, this might be too much.
Yeah, that's a bit much for me. This box set is crazy. One Piranha split between 3 tapes.
One Piranha between 3 tapes. But it wasn't.
No,
it was only an
hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Manageable, for sure.
Then, so the other guys who helped write this, like Charles Hegley, they haven't really done too much. He's mostly done writing for like TV shows now. Ovidio G. Ass on Tits. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry.
You got great names for these guys.
He hasn't really done anything at all. It kind of seems like he was like over the movie though. He was the one who was like, it was his big idea, which is weird, and I should have looked into it more, but it didn't seem worth it. So that is that. All right, going back to Piranha 2. Ooh. So it is sitting at a Rotten Tomatoes score of 5% for the critics and 11% for the audience.
So fairly similar.
Pretty on the same boat. The same raft.
On the same sinking boat?
It has a Letterboxd score of 2.0. There is one person who has liked this, like put this movie as they're a fan of it.
Oh my god.
So, like it tells you how many people are like big fans of the movies. I don't actually fully know how it's done. Maybe like tell me someone if you find out. But it normally is a lot higher number than that. But there's one person.
Not quite a cult classic.
That was kind of funny. Metacritic is 15%. IMDb is 3.2. The budget for this movie was $145,786.
That's nothing. That's
no
money.
Specific. I don't understand why it's so specific.
Yeah, hold on.
And I found that in multiple locations from different sources.
So definitely 145,786.
145,786. 4, 5, 6, 36. Jenny's got her number. James has got her number. Okay.
Oh my god.
And then for the gross, gross. It's gross. No one knows. No one knows how much money.
Yeah, it's gross. Nobody. It's yucky.
I don't think it made any money. So that's that. All right, let's look at some reviews.
Yes, please.
You got any?
Yeah, I got Kim Newman to start us out. Just says, for curious completionists only. It's the only kind of people that need to watch this movie.
Is that like completionists, like as in those who are watching everything James Cameron's done?
Or every like Piranha movie, or both.
But why would you watch all of the Piranha movies? That doesn't make sense.
Because there's double D's later on.
But if you watch all the James Cameron movies, you get to watch... oh, dang it, I lost my page. What was that one? You get to watch Martini Ranch Reach.
There you go.
It's a music video.
Oh my gosh.
What
about you? You got a review for me?
Crazy tangents. Yeah, so Matt Brunson says, the fish in this flick can not only bite, but also can fly. A twist that isn't terrifying as much as it's laughable.
Yeah, that tracks. Mike Massey says, despite the unintentional humor of ultimate organism breeding biochemistry leading to a frenzied beachside bloodbath, the shoddy construction of the film is unforgivable.
Oof.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that.
And I agree with this one completely because I was talking about it the whole movie. Tim Brayton from Antagony and Ecstasy says, the piranha attack scenes are handled with minimal grace, giving us plenty of nice, long looks at just how fake the props are.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it?
All right, what were your expectations?
So for me, I just figured I expected this to be just an outrageous, campy movie. We watched the trailer for this one just like to see if it was worth watching for the podcast, and it was. It looked kind of nuts, so we were like, sure, yeah, why not? I expected worse than the worst acting and writing in it. I just thought it was going to be terrible all across the board. And then I thought it was going to have the vibes of a cult classic movie. Like, I felt like there was a stuff in this I'm like, yeah, there could be a weird group of people that are super into this for some random reason. Mm-hmm. And then I thought there would be practical but terrible piranha fish. I figured they would not be CGI'd or computer generated for the movie. I just figured it would be practical, but that they would not look that great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about all my expectations. What about you?
To like go right on that, bad fish effects.
Yep.
I assumed.
Bad fish.
And then campy dialogue.
This log is dire. This is my dire log.
This is my dialogue. Is that someone like writing their notes in like a log that is sad?
Why did I not know what dire meant until right now? It means extremely serious or urgent. Oh. This is my dire log.
Oh, wait.
It has been years since I've seen the countryside. Mother next to me and father around, surrounded by friends and family, until the lumberjack came and destroyed my village. It's a dire log.
Yes, that is the joke you were making. A dire log. Oh
so God. Expectations.
You were the one. You went on a tangent.
Sorry, I had to talk about my dire log.
I imagine like a burned down logging village.
Yes,
and there's like decrepit tree man.
Yes,
sitting on a.
But he's got to have some like Game of Thrones cloak over his shoulders, you know.
And he's holding in his hand like a giant number 2 pencil that's been chiseled out of a tree, yes. And a big log of wood. I am writing my dialogue for the final time.
This is genius. We need to make this movie.
This is trademarked. We're
TM.
Anyway, I also expected some cool underwater scenes by Mr. James Cam because that's kind of like his thing.
He's weirdly known for that.
My man loves to swim.
Mm-hmm. I remember him bragging about the fact that nobody was filming 3D movies, right? Because he decided the best way to do it is to film them underwater. That's the best way to get that 3D realistic whatever thing. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely his playground underwater.
Think it stems from an obsession, or is it a Batman situation?
Like a trauma kind of thing, right?
Yeah, was he killed by bats?
Yeah, or he was killed by water bats, the aquabats.
The aquabats. I love the aquabats. No, maybe he went swimming once, and then he saw his parents die in the water.
But he had his camera.
Yeah.
And it took a picture, and he remembers this forever.
He didn't take the picture.
No, the water did it for him.
Reached out
and his parents
took a
were
little
holding hands and looking at him and smiling. And they said,
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was kind of sad.
I'm now sad.
Oh,
but
great. I'm sad.
What if he got a little waterlogged? And he had to write a dire waterlog.
Dire waterlog. Oh, God. Dire waterlog.
And then he had to say a monologue about his dire monologue.
This is dire water monologue. Dire monologue.
Dire monologue. So he's sitting there and he's giving his dire water monologue on a log in a bog.
There you go.
With some fog. With his pet hog.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
What else we got?
Tog.
Slog. It was quite a slog.
Grog. Like
he was drinking grog.
Drinking some grog.
Hey, do you think that James Cameron's okay?
Google it. Sorry, I'm going to rhyme.com.
Wait, now I have to add that. Another source for this episode was rhyme.com.
Have we even finished your expectations
yet? Some pretty gratuitous nudity was my next one.
Oh, why would you expect that? It was only made in the 80s.
I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with the giant, stupid butt cheeks on the poster. Probably had something to do with that.
Is that a thing? Why do I not know that?
Look at the poster. There's big old butt cheeks.
Piranha II, the spawn.
Okay, not that poster, though. Look at
I was going to say, there's one with like a piranha in the teeth.
Look at that.
Okay, there's boobs in that one.
That's boobs.
That's boobs.
That is... I mean, those are just the butt cheeks of the chest.
That is bizarre.
Where's the brassiere was the word you were looking for.
Brazier.
Okay, there are no butt. No, that one!
Oh, there's a buttocks.
There's the butt.
Buttocks.
Yep, she's got a bad wedgie, too.
It started as a vacation.
Hey,
the dire
and then
log.
I actually... Oh, my God.
Is the narrator at the beginning of every like movie like that, like some action movie with the narration is always it's a dialogue?
Oh, that's really funny.
That's pretty good.
Hey, my final expectation, if you care.
I don't know if I do. I'm so into dialogues now. What's your final
my whole
expectation?
vibe is just like dire logs. Outlandish gore was my last one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
I don't really feel like it was going to be bad, but I thought it'd be like, outlandish.
Yeah, just
I googled the definition of
there.
outlandish.
I watched you do. I wasn't going to out you on the podcast, but you did it yourself.
I can't remember what it was. Well, because I wrote it yesterday, and so I was like, "Did I say that right?" Oh,
is this real? Group. Oh, it's a hip hop group.
Hip hop group. So
not sponsored by hip hop group Outlandish.
Aizem Bachiri. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry that I used your band's name in vain.
So the movie does not. Let's splash in. I don't know how to not say. Let's dive into this. It immediately just starts with some sex. We don't get any opening credits. No companies known that made it. That was strange to me.
So weird.
Yeah, and we thought we missed something, but no, we started right at 0, and it's just immediately into it. It was kind of weird.
It was so strange.
No pre-credits, nothing.
Normally movies, we can gauge on how good the movie's going to be by how many title sequences they have, like how many different production
companies. Exactly. Honestly, usually, like, the more title sequences, the more company names before the movie, the worse it is.
Yeah. The first movie we noticed this with was Children of the Corn, because we were sitting there, we were counting how many...
It just kept happening.
Going.
How many can there be?
And I remember there's like that stupid Family Guy bit about that from years and years and years ago.
Nope, not familiar.
Well, they're just like sitting in a movie and they think the movie's about to start, but every single time it's a different title sequence. And it's a good bit. Like, that's a funny bit because it's very true. Anyway, there was none of that. It just jumped in.
They jump right in and
you could say they dived right in.
No, I will not say this.
But
You cannot get me to say that if you try.
But, okay.
They start out with this couple awkwardly trying to have sex on a boat, and it's not working out. And she's like, "Is it me? Do I need to do something else?" He's like, "No, baby, it's okay." There's the most like 80s dialogue ever in this scene specifically. Yeah. But yeah, there's like we find out a weird amount about them. Like, she's like, in the bedroom, it was too hot, and then now out here, it's not working. Like, where is it going to work? There's like some third location where like sex was not working for them. Yeah. Kind of weird, but like, so he's coming up with excuses and stuff. So I'm
over.
I know too much about this character that is definitely going to die in 6 seconds, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then suddenly she's like, okay, let's do what we came here to do. And they start like trying to go at it. And then suddenly we're underwater and 2 people are diving. I did not make the connection that the 2 of them were the one that went diving.
You didn't?
No. I mean, I did in a second, but like they didn't gear up and go into the water. Just they were talking on the boat. Then suddenly 2 people were underwater in scuba gear.
It's a metaphor for sex.
It was a terrible metaphor.
It's where you skip the foreplay and go straight to the diving.
Straight to the diving. They really dived in. Also, it's worth noting, every scene underwater that is shot at night is as bright as it would be in the daytime.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that really bothered me. It would absolutely not be that bright in the ocean if it was nighttime. It would be pitch black down there.
And we can pretty much cover that now.
Yeah.
It is like that the entire movie.
Yeah, and what's funny is like the shots, there are some times where they're underwater during the day. It looks exactly the same as when they shoot it at night. There are several scenes in this movie where like the time of day based on the lighting in the sky does not match what it is. It'll flip-flop back and forth. Like the continuity there was atrocious.
It gets to the point where there's parts where it will be showing underwater and it's bright, dark, and then it will be showing dark outside, and so you think time has passed.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, it was daytime, now it's nighttime.
But then it goes back.
And then it goes back.
Yeah.
And then it goes back again. You're like, oh, well.
So you're like, oh, no, they just messed that up. You know,
time just doesn't exist.
They're not skipping time. They're just stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
So they end up going to dive down to this mysterious sunken boat for some reason. There's like suspenseful music that leads up to nothing. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
They just start stripping each other and taking off their scuba gear to make out underwater.
They take off their air tanks.
Yeah,
they take off
it's
their
so
freaking
stupid.
mouthpieces.
Also, that
They take
80s
off
chest
everything.
hair is a sight to be seen.
Hey. I've got 80s chest hair. You got a problem with it?
80s chest hair right on you right now?
I have 80 chest hairs.
80 chest hairs, specifically.
Sorry, I thought we were
Can
talking about
I take one of those? Can I make it 79?
No, I have 79 chest hairs. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's funny because like it seems like there's some kind of suspense happening where like they're just like going through and seeing this boat. Then suddenly the girl is naked.
Yeah,
she comes to the dude who's got like a little like holster for a knife on his leg. She takes the knife out and cuts his trunks off, his like Speedo thing. And then they're just making out. It's so stupid. And also like they have to be down pretty deep, and they're just taking off all their gear.
Well, they're like in a wreckage.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They make a
like
big
on the bottom of
this wreckage.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're like, nah, we're good. Just throw the tanks over there. We gotta get
on it. Then there's the sound of like bubbling water, and you see like a couple shots of fish swimming by a camera, and they're just making
that
weird. Oh, that's terrible. They're just making weird bubbly noises, and it's terrible. And like so they die. And I literally just wrote, I don't even know what to say about that kill.
Yeah.
It was the quietest murder.
Could you call that what it is? I think it was two people dying.
They die. It was just a slurry of like wriggling bodies and red water with like this image of piranhas close to the camera, like superimposed over it. Yeah, it was terrible, but also didn't feel like a kill. It's just suddenly like, oh, I think they're dead now.
Okay, I'm scared.
And then there it is, Piranha II, the spawning.
And that scared me. The words.
Yeah, and then we get to the opening credits roll. I was like, okay, cool. It was worth mentioning how you're talking about, what was his name? Heagley? H. Eagley? Heagley. In the opening credits, there's also someone named H.A. Milton.
It's Hamilton.
It's Hamilton.
Hamilton.
This movie looks like it was filmed on someone's like home camcorder.
Absolutely.
The quality was atrocious, and like this was made in the 80s. Like this, there were better looking movies from around this time. Why is the quality such dog shit? It's terrible.
And I tried to find like an HD version of the movie because we try to get the best version of a movie possible to give it any benefit we can. We're very generous people.
Yeah, we really give back to the arts,
Well, I mean. I think it makes a big difference too, because like the first movie we ever watched was Slender Man, and it was before we had really like set anything into motion, and we watched that movie in really terrible definition. And I think for me personally, it definitely ruined the movie a little bit more.
It's definitely a personal thing for you. I've seen you go to buy a movie for like a 3 pixel difference.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to respect the movie. Okay, Slender Man was probably a fantastic film that we were just not seeing.
So that's what it was. It was just the pixels that were changing it for you.
It's probably why this movie had the feelings I have about it now, because of the pixels.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't need good graphics. I just need to be able to tell what's going on.
Yeah, in that vein, I made a note and I said this out loud. I said, the cinematography leaves a lot to be desired.
Really,
Derek just says, a desire to stop. It was pretty good.
I mean, yeah.
So then it's the daytime. We see this kid who caught a fish. He's running into this hotel, and he's coming up to this lady in her bed. She's like naked in this bed, I believe. She's covered up.
It like zoomed up her leg.
Yeah, that was the thing too. Is like the 80s were so damn horny, just because they will take any and every opportunity to pan the camera up a woman's legs. You know it. We've all seen it.
So we're thinking that he's gonna jump in this bed with her.
Yeah, because he like hops on and starts putting this sucker fish fish in her face and like kind of doing this playful thing. She's like, stop to put it in my bed. It seems like weirdly flirty, and then we find out she's his mom.
It was wrong.
Yeah, he snuck up on her in bed with a kissy fish. Like that's gross.
It was icky.
Also, his mom looks like discount Sigourney Weaver.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I think we wrote that note at the same time. Like I said that out loud, and you were like, I was just writing that note. I'm Derek.
I'm thinking I'm Derek. And she definitely was. That's my words. Mm-hmm. Well, and this movie was hot off of Alien, right? Mm. So like I feel like anyone who looked like Sigourney Weaver gets cast.
Yeah.
And it's not
because they think like that's the formula, that's what works.
It's not the only Alien thing in this movie either. Mm. Like, and James Cameron went on to do an Aliens movie,
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
It makes sense. But
it just pretty wild.
The mom and the son are really grossing me out. They get like really close to each other. He's got a very flirty nature with her. It's disgusting.
And that's another thing that we can get out of the way now. Mm-hmm. The cinematography in this movie was something akin to a home movie that no one knew how to properly frame anyone in. And so like anytime there are two characters on screen, they look like they're about to make out. It didn't matter if they were brother and sister, if they were mom and dad, or you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm upset. I'm mixing my words because it made me mad. It was so awkward.
Yes, every encounter. There were characters who were literally fighting with each other. It looked like they were about to kiss.
Yes, exactly. Like, I felt more comfortable about the fish with the people than I did about the people with the people. Mm-hmm. And it's just how it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, now we have the craziest sequence I've ever seen in a movie in which we're introduced to what? I counted 12 characters.
In about this, like a time rate of like a character a minute. Yes. We are meeting so many characters.
Yeah, I believe we looked and it was, 15, 16 minutes into the movie.
Exactly. And at that point, we'd been watching it for like 4 or 5 minutes already.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So 12 characters in about 12 minutes we are introduced to.
It's just ridiculous.
I'll go through them, and it will be really, really hard for us to keep track of them through the story because it was hard to keep track of them while watching it.
Well, yeah, and like spoiler alert, 80% of these characters are just shown at the beginning of the movie and then just shown at the end of it. Yeah. They serve no purpose or any drive for the plot whatsoever. They are just there to fill something. I don't even know what they're there to fill.
I don't either. Maybe
so many like unfinished plot lines with so many of them. You don't even see some of them die. They just like have one thing at the beginning, have one thing at the end, and then you're just like, okay, well, thanks for showing up, I guess.
Well, I'm already committed to going through the characters.
Yes, please go.
So, mom and son, obviously.
Yep.
But then you have these two girls who are like kind of being flirtatious with this doctor who they find out is actually a dentist, but in that like midpoint where he's a doctor and then they find out he's not a doctor. They're like, ooh, we don't want you anymore. They find out he's a dentist. All of a sudden they're horny for him. There's this old woman who is weirdly hitting on this young man.
Yeah, who's like works at the resort or something like that.
That's another thing. They're at a resort in Jamaica.
Yeah.
We should probably did you establish that?
No, I did not.
Here, let me rewind. Nope, we didn't talk about that.
No, we're resorting to Jamaica.
Resort in Jamaica.
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 Now we're back in the present.
That was crazy. Two gross girls. One icky doctor, and an old lady who's hitting on this young guy.
Telling him, she's like, I'll show you things that put the young girls to shame.
Yeah.
And of course he says, no, thank you.
Which, she didn't even look that old. She was just like older than him.
Exactly right.
It was just for the plot point. What plot point?
Yeah, really.
There's a guy and his son in a boat, and they're throwing TNT into the water.
Yeah, they're just chucking dynamite into the ocean, like lighting it with a cigarette and then like throwing it out there.
And then there was this weirdly like sexual moment between a police officer and the guy who's like, "Hey, you gotta stop doing that." Yeah. And then he's like, "I'm gonna still light this TNT."
And he does.
Like, don't you dare!
He tosses it to him. Then the cop has to throw it out of the boat.
So anyway, then we get introduced to that cop, and then we get.
It feels like a sketch comedy. There's really so many people.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's a guy with his daughter on a boat, and they're going out into the water.
Who have hired the son from the mother and son duo. He's gonna, I think it's like a job for him, something like that. He's like, I don't even know what the job actually is.
I don't.
He's helping out on the boat for something.
I don't know. It was ridiculous. So anyway,
this girl's gonna end up being his love interest or something like that.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, the cop is also his dad. That's a plot point.
We
as
find
well.
that out in a little bit. We find out. So they're kind of connected somehow. Oh, and the mom and the dad are apparently still married, but they like.
They're not with each other. It goes back and forth. That's something that like annoyed me throughout the entirety of the movie, because at the very beginning, the son's having a conversation with his mom about how he wants to have a dad around, right? And she's like, I'm not having this conversation with you right now, right? Even though he's weirdly flirting with her. Yeah, but
the way he says it, he's like, what about a father figure?
Yeah.
Can I have a father figure?
So weird to me. I hated it. Yeah.
Why do you say it like that?
But yeah, then there are moments where like she flat out says like, that's my husband. I'm like, okay, so they're not like divorced, but they're not with each other. I don't know what's happening.
I don't either.
But they all live on this resort for the most part. Most of them are actually, they live here. They work there for some reason. They're not just like tourists or anything like that.
Yep.
So yeah, the son boy goes on the boat and he meets the girl who's going to be basically his love interest. Although I think she's a little too young for him. He likes them a little older and his mom.
Hey, gross.
And it's at this point that I'm like, I think we're done meeting new people now. There's that scene where, one of the girls is into the doctor type. She's like, oh, I'm fake drowning. And then he goes to save her. And then, she's like, you're not a doctor? And she like almost pushes him away. He's like, no, but I'm a dentist. She's like, a dentist.
Almost identical.
So we find out a little bit about The Spawning, the subtitle of this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Is basically this thing that happens where, like, it's like a mating ritual for the local fish. They're called grunions, which is a wild name for a fish.
You wrote that down.
I didn't even write that down. I just remembered that, actually. What? Yeah. It stuck with me. It's a weird word.
Grunions.
So, yeah.
Wait, it kind of sounds like something like happens in your knee. I tripped.
Yeah. I'll catch up. I got my grunions.
My grunions.
You know me and my grun. I gotta rub this grunion out.
Oh, there goes Tim on his dialogue again.
I popped my grunion.
Doc, I popped my grunion. I'm a dentist.
So there's some kind of mating ritual for the local fish that's after like the first moon of the spring equinox is basically all we know about that.
Wow.
I say that like it's not a lot. That's actually a lot of information.
I was like, well, that was a lot of information.
So then we meet two more characters. More characters are showing up. Two girls chilling just nude on a boat.
For no reason.
Yeah, it's strange. They're just doing whatever.
It's the coastal life, right, Mom?
Yeah, we're on island time. We don't need clothes.
That's so stupid.
So yeah, then there's a bit where the boat cop, he pulls over the ship that the son is working on, and he freaks the captain out of that ship, and then he just takes his son. He's like, hey, I'm your dad, and we're just going to have a conversation right now to establish that I'm your dad.
Yeah, that was basically. So stupid. Yeah. This poor guy who's like the boat owner is like scared. Oh no, I'm getting pulled over by the police on my boat. And he's like, he's fine, he's just my son.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
The cop found the little dinghy boat that the two tourists from the very beginning of the movie died in, and that's where we start like they're like, something weird is happening. Why is there a boat out this way, you know? So the two nude women or one of the two nude women, are caught stealing from the resort. She like sneaks into the kitchen and tries to steal some food, right?
Yeah.
And you meet this like sweet guy. He's like, hey, you can't take that food. He's got this stutter. And
this genuinely made me upset.
Yeah, it honestly was very upsetting. So she basically is like, "Oh, it's okay if I take some food, right? Our boat was robbed, and so we have no money or anything. How about you come to the dock at this time, and then we'll all hang out." And she basically is like promising to sleep with the guy, right?
Yeah.
She's like promising him all this stuff, having a fun night if he lets her take this food away. And he kind of foils her plans by being like, "Oh, well, I'm a good chef, so like let me make it, and I'll bring it to you, right?"
Yeah.
And she's like, fine. So she lets him do that. But I'm like, these girls are going to play this guy so bad later.
And guess what?
And he's just sweet.
They did.
He's just sweet. I don't even know what reason I wrote this, but I literally just said everyone is so close to kissing in this movie.
Probably just like what we were talking about with the camera work, right?
Oh, it's because we're in the scene now where Mommy Weaver, the discount Sigourney Weaver, Mommy, that's her name now.
Weaver.
That is how Weaver? That's terrible.
Weaver.
Mommy Weaver is a diving instructor at the resort.
Mommy Weaver.
And there was a guy who was acting. No, put your hand down, please. Mommy Weaver's not going to pick on you. Nor will she step on you.
I had a bit, but it's fine. No, you can move on.
I don't know if I want that bit by the crazed look in your eyes.
Just keep going. We'll leave people on suspense.
So she teaches the diving classes, right? And I guess it's a thing that, like, as part of their diving, they go down to this boat. I guess it's like they're well aware that the shipwreck is down there at the bottom, right? They're like, you cannot go inside. This is your first lesson, but we're gonna go down there to check it out, right? It'll be pretty cool.
You kind of went Kermit there. You can't go down there. It's your first lesson.
You can't go down to the bottom of the boat.
Wait. Who has the better Kermit voice? I'm going to start a poll.
All right.
Is it me, Isaac? This is Isaac Carrillo.
Hi-ho, Derek's a liar. Derek's a fucking liar.
Whoa! Kermit can't say that.
Kermit can say shit.
Wait, okay. Waka waka!
Oh, no. So, it was at this moment I noticed the quality of this movie is so bad, you can see the film grain.
Oh, yeah!
Specifically in the outside scenes where it's brighter, like, you can definitely see the film grain on it. So they go down to the boat, they're all diving, and I was like, is something scary finally gonna happen? Because at this point, this is not a horror movie. It's a sketch comedy where I'm meeting a bunch of weird perverts, basically is how the movie is going. And I was like, oh, here come the piranhas. So there was a guy who was being shitty in the class. And of course, he's the one that goes into the boat when he wasn't supposed to. He breaks away from the group. You good? You good, Derek?
So you know that YouTube video of the sex offender shuffle?
Oh, no. Stop.
No, it's like...
This is terrible.
No, I just imagine that's like the intro theme song to this sketch comedy show. That's like a bunch of perverts.
That's like the resort training video for this place that they play for everybody when they come in.
Like, be wary of all these awful people.
So the piranha are finally coming through, and you can see the armature that is holding the piranha puppets when you see them going across the screen.
Every time.
They don't do a very good job of hiding that.
Yeah.
So, like, from here on, you see most of, like, what is puppeteering these piranhas. Yeah. It's terrible. So then, he basically, again, you're just like, I guess he's dead, because there's, like, bubbly noises, and then he's just gone. He's just, he got gone, I guess.
I must have completely missed that.
Yeah.
Because I just saw the piranha swimming, and then all of a sudden, there was a corpse of him.
We're just assumed to think he's dead, right? Like, I guess the piranha got him. I would have liked to see that, or something.
Super nasty prosthetic.
Yeah. So Mommy Weaver found he like attached a line to the top of the boat as he was going deeper. She finds that line and starts pulling on it, can't get to him, and he got. And I was actually surprised. His chewed up body actually looked pretty wicked. He had like his like muscles and like teeth exposed, like the front of his face. It was actually pretty nasty, but I was surprised at like decent. Didn't look that bad, honestly.
No, yeah.
I'm like, that's what you get for leaving the group. Sorry. The writing of this movie is so boring. It's so boring.
I think that this was the most bored I've been in a movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is saying something, because I've seen Alone in the Dark, and this movie bored the crap out of me.
But at least that one was like bad in such ways that it was entertaining to watch. This one was just like a snore fest the whole time. But I'm like, but I did write, like, they're acting well enough. They're trying their darndest. It was fine acting, It was like, whatever.
Mommy Weaver was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, she was fine. Yeah, she did pretty good. Following on the trail of Sigourney Weaver, I guess she really wanted to give it her all.
Maybe it was.
The camera was so close to their faces. There's a scene where after they see the dead body, Mommy Weaver's getting interrogated by the cop, her husband. And every shot between the two of them, back to back on their faces, it is like their face fills the entire screen. And I only noticed that because you made a comment. Yeah. You were like, imagine going to see this in theaters and just you were in front of a screen that is completely their faces. It's so true.
It's like in Les Mis, where all you see is Hugh Jackman's nose hairs during that one scene. But the entire movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So there's a guy who's like a tourist here, and he's like really trying to flirt it up with Mommy Weaver. His name's Tyler, I believe. He's just really obnoxious about it. He like doesn't understand boundaries whatsoever.
Oh, he's gross.
And so like he's trying
pervert.
Yeah, he's trying to talk to the cop, and he's like, hey man, listen, quit interrogating her. She just saw death. And then he like leaves and stuff, and he's like, wow, you know that robot? She's like, yeah, that's my husband. He literally says that, you know that robot? But yeah, so she calls him her husband.
Yeah.
So they're not separated.
No.
But they're not with each other. I don't understand it.
But then is it the next scene they're walking down the street?
Something like that, I think.
Yeah, they like jump, now they're walking down the street.
Yeah. But before that, we do see that the two nude girls on the boat do take advantage of the stuttering cook. they're probably gonna die. Karma, you know.
Yeah, they have to.
They gotta die, right? Upset. And it's just the poor guy. So like he hands them the food. They're like, their boat is he took the rope off of the dock for them, and they're like, okay, hand me the food. He's like, okay, here I go.
Here I come.
And then they're like, okay, now jump. He's like, can you bring it closer? They're like, no, it's okay. So then he backs up and like Kramer in Seinfeld. Yeah. He like does this comedic like jump off and splash into the ocean. And then they're like, bye, asshole. And then they drive away. Like, how rude.
Like,
so messed up.
I can't think of any time in the history of our world where this was played off as funny and not cruel.
Right? It was just cruel. Through and through.
The way he jumped was comedical.
Yeah.
Comedical? Yes, it was very comedical. No, but like, it felt like it was supposed to be comedic, but all it did was offend me.
Yeah.
Like, it was just rude.
I was just mad about
annoying.
It. Yeah, exactly.
I wanted them to die.
There are too many plot lines for us to keep track of everything.
We're skipping things.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much going on throughout it. Like, you get 12 characters at the beginning, but there are like 3 that are actually important to the story, right? And so here we have, yeah, you're right. So it's Mommy Weaver and Tyler walking down the street. He literally just found out that she has a husband, and he's still pursuing her. She's like walking down the road at night, and he bikes up next to her. He's like, "Hey, let's hang out. Come on." She's like, "No, it's okay. I really want to be alone tonight. I've had a rough day." He's like, "Oh, come on. How are we supposed to have a love affair if you keep running away from me?"
Which is just so icky.
It's so gross.
Like, you just met her husband,
but somehow it works.
Yeah, that's the love phrase of the year. You know, 2 single people come up to each other, that's what they need to be saying to each other. How are we supposed to have an affair without you texting me? Why you ghosted me
It's just so dumb. And he tries to be charming. He's like, listen, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to be, like, having a date or going to dinner. I just want to have you around. I enjoy your company. And that works. It's crazy. Also, over this entire scene are the loudest goddamn crickets I have ever heard. Oh. You remember? It was so loud. It was ridiculous.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, over, like, the whole thing. You could hardly hear them talking over the sound of like these like industrial strength crickets.
Didn't I make a bit about how it's actually just a broken microphone that sounded like a cricket? And so they're like, hey, this works, use it at night.
Like, this is fine, it's night. This is perfect. We don't have to buy a new microphone. Hey, there's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 budget, whatever that was.
1, 6, 7, 6, 4, 5.
So he finds out that she's going to break into the morgue because the cop did not allow her to see the corpse of the dude. Because, I mean, why would he? You know, like, she's not, he's a cop and he should be allowed to say these things because she's just a diving instructor. But she has to know, right? So she pulls out this thick bank card. It just says bank card across the front of it and uses that to break into the morgue.
But you never leave home without your bank card.
Yeah,
because if you leave home without your bank card, you can't break into morgues. And if you can't break into morgues with your bank card, you can't leave your bank card behind. And you can't make your bank card very known. And then if you can't leave your bank card behind and make it very known to the audience, then you can't get found out by your husband cop later on.
And then if you give a bank card a cookie, he'll want a glass of milk.
And if you give the bank card a glass of milk, he won't be able to drink it because it's a piece of plastic.
And then if you give a bank card a piece of plastic, he's gonna get attacked by a flying piranha, I guess.
And if you give a bank card a piece of plastic, gets attacked by a flying piranha, then he'll die because he's plastic. And can't sustain itself to... This bit's over.
No, it was over like 10 things ago.
This bit has been bit by the piranha, and it is no longer...
So, like, we both called that she was gonna... Like, there were enough establishing shots on the bank card that I was like,
too many.
For sure she's going to forget it somewhere, and it's going to be evidence later on, and the cop's going to find it, right? So that's exactly what happens. They come to the corpse and she's like taking a bunch of pictures of it. The corpse looks decent.
Yeah, it was grody.
Yeah, it's again like all chewed up and nasty. I was surprised that like the prosthetic work was actually pretty good on that.
But, like maybe I'm just picky, right? But like it looked cool, but then you would like see shots of the arm and there were like these big circular holes taken out of it that looked like big bites that were like perfect circles.
They were a little too neat for like the ravenous nature of the piranhas.
And it didn't match the rest of the wounds.
Yeah,
I think that was my issue with it, is it didn't match the whole thing.
Yeah, because his whole face was like shredded, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, I thought it was fine. Then the attendant, like one of the workers there, does a hell of a job. She kicks the two of... She doesn't ask any questions.
The lead.
Yeah, she kicked them out like no holds barred. She's like, you were getting out of here. She's talking about like respect for the dead, you know? Like she's my favorite character at this point. Unfortunately, then we get like kind of an alien-esque piranha jumping out of the corpse like a chest burster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I read that later on too.
Buster.
There were like some people saying it was like kind of a nod to it.
Really?
Yeah,
I wouldn't have guessed.
So yeah, a piranha like first just like pops out of the corpse and then attacks the lady. Unfortunately, she dies. Yeah. It's the longest murder sequence with like nothing happening though.
There was nothing.
This girl deserved better, but it's like I realized from here on, it's like, oh, it's gonna be one of those movies where it's like it's just gonna be a long shot of like the actor holding a puppet up against their neck and wriggling around,
which. Was that exactly what it was?
That's exactly what it was. It was so long. There was a lot of blood just spraying out of nowhere. It was very weird. But then the piranha just flies out the window. It's got wings now. So now we know that they are flying piranhas. And then
Floranas.
So then we're back with Mommy Weaver and Tyler talking about how like apparently there was like a mutant strain of fish that were made. They were supposed to be used in like the Vietnam War or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was
so strange.
It was so weird to me. But then he's about to leave, and then she's like, "Oh, well, won't you stay?" And then they sleep together. It's so weird. Like, why are you into this man? He's gross, and it's stupid.
Yeah. So then the next morning, it is the next morning, right? My notes are correct.
I think it's actually the same night. There was a shot.
Was it the morning?
No, because it's the same shot where she's sitting up in bed, and you're like, "Oh, cool, they just did the do." Clearly, it's the next morning. But then the next shot is nighttime because the two new girls are on the boat and they die.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God, this movie had no
continuity. That's another moment of like, it's still the same day, but it looked like it was the morning time.
All right, well,
yeah.
Anyway, it shoots over to the lab.
Yeah.
Because they find her instantly, this dead body. And then the cop husband, Mommy Weaver husband, finds the bank card, and he's like, "This is my wife's bank card."
I know.
So he runs over there, he gives her this whole speech. He finds her in bed with Tyler.
With the dude, yep.
And he gets pissed.
Yeah.
Which, obviously.
Understandable. I think they're still married, so...
But, like, they don't live together, they don't talk. It's so confusing.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening here. And, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, right before that happens, you skip over the scene where the two shitty girls get what they deserve. Did you forget?
I thought we talked about it.
No. They're basically like it's there's not much to say about it, right? Because all of these kills are so boring. They're basically out at night, and now we know that the fish can fly, right? So now it's like you're not even safe outside of the water, right? So they hear the sounds of the fish flapping around. Sounds like a weird like flying saucer sound effect. I kind of hated it. It was so weird. But the fish themselves,
piranha flopping.
Flopping, yeah, exactly. I hated that. Like the flopping sound effect is so dumb. But so yeah, they don't make any kind of screeching sound or anything like that. So they're not very scary. They just have like I don't even know how to like imitate it. But yeah, it looks like they have a hand puppet version of the piranhas that come from out of camera and like bite onto their necks or something like that. It's just stupid.
But it did look like someone's hand.
But I mean,
too.
Karma's a bitch and they deserve it. So
yay, they're dead.
So yeah, they're dead. So yeah, then you covered that basically the cop and Mommy Weaver have an argument about it. He says her story is cockamamie, which is just funny to me because nobody says that word.
I say that word all the time.
You say that word all the time? Yeah. Say it right now.
Cockamamie.
Well, damn. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
you got me there.
Get out of here with your cockamamie schemes.
Mommy Weaver wants to cancel the dives for the rest of the week, right? She's like, there's something dangerous out there. We need to do this. Because now she's full tilt on the whole, like, there's a mutant strain of fish, right? And that's what's happening.
Absolutely. I mean, me too.
So her boss is basically like, oh, come on, don't be ridiculous. We can't do that. I need you. You're one of the best people here. People come here for you, please. To, like, 3 seconds later going, you're fired. I want you out of... I could use your suite. Get out. It's so stupid. It's so weird.
Dumb.
And then we find out Tyler is like a spy working for some agency or something. He knows about the fish. And... suddenly we're like, okay, so he's got some weird past that we don't know about. It's so strange.
It definitely insinuated that, he was, like, working for the government.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a secret program or something.
At this point, I said out loud, this movie is not scary. And Derek, again, with his hilarity, says, I'm scared of this movie continuing.
And I still am.
Yep, exactly.
There's a big fear I have that we're still watching this movie to this day.
Yeah, honestly.
And we haven't left.
We're stuck there. Like, we're sitting it with, like, our eyes held open, like Clockwork Orange style, watching Piranha 2 for the rest of our lives.
I want everyone to know that when I was saying that just barely, I had my arm on Isaac's shoulder.
What's my name?
Isaac.
Isaac.
Armix. And I was just like pointing at him. I don't know why.
That's your whole bit?
No, because it was like, I don't know. They can't see us.
So essentially... Mommy Weaver goes down to the boat again. She goes with like one harpoon gun for a swarm of fish, like that's gonna protect her.
That's so stupid.
And then Tyler's a hero. He saves her, and then he basically tells her everything about how like they are a mutant strain, the government made them, blah blah blah. I'm here to protect the people from them, blah blah.
He's a biochemist.
Yeah. But then he like expects her to stop, and she's like, "Hell no, I'm gonna go save the day." I'm like, "Yeah, honestly, yeah, go, Mommy Weaver." There's a bit where the son and the girl that he's on that boat with they just leave on a dinghy. Gone. They sneak away in the middle of the night, and the cop has a helicopter now, and he goes to the boat and like is bothering this dude in the middle of the night. He's like, "Where's my son?" talking over the radio. Yeah. So now we know they're gone, which is a very useless point, and I think it only comes in handy for one reason later on that I'll discuss.
That's in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It's in like 5 minutes. Where can we even go from here? It basically...
I mean, the movie had the same problem, right? Where does it go from here?
Exactly, right?
But it jumps over to them at the
spawning.
The spawn.
Right. They're making a big... It's also weird to me. They're making a big deal, like, this kind of, like party theme of this thing that's kind of barbaric. Literally, their plan to... Even if there weren't killer piranha, it's like, your plan is to interrupt this like mating ritual of these fish, just kill them and then go eat them and have a big party about it. Like it's kind of barbaric. It's kind of really messed up, honestly.
So then you find this guy, one of the guy who is throwing TNT at the fish.
Yes.
His son is like walking through like a bathhouse. What is this place?
I don't know. It's like a junkyard, but on an island. It's like an island junkyard,
but like with bathtubs.
Yeah, it's strange.
So anyway, he's like messing around. He drops something in the pool. You're like, oh no, he's got to get eaten by fish. And then he doesn't get eaten by the fish until he does.
Yep. Until he does.
Like it like subverts you a couple times. It was almost good, and then he ends up dying. And then the dad ends up finding his son's body,
and he gets pissed. He's like, "I'm going to take matters into my own hands."
And then he's like, "Well, I have a bunch of TNT, so obviously I can solve this problem."
Yep. So he just makes a bunch of bombs, and it's like they're going to go off at 6:30 exactly.
Yep. Sets it all in his alarm clock. And then he teams up with Tyler. He's like, "Hey, Tyler, here's the plan."
For some reason, Tyler just walks in on him making these bombs, and suddenly they've just made a plan all of a sudden.
Yep, and it's cool. He's cool with this guy making bombs.
It's strange to me, but it doesn't seem like Tyler has any better options, you useless biochemist.
Yeah.
But so now we're at the spawning, and then we're getting reintroduced to all the characters that are never useful again, right? So, like, the MILF from the beginning that was trying to sleep with the guy, she goes to his room with, like a bottle of, like, champagne or something like that. She's like, "Help me finish off this bottle." And then a girl walks up behind him. She's like, "Who's at the door?" And then she's embarrassed. And that's, like, all that point is used for.
And they're never seen
again.
Yeah.
Same deal. Like, the dentist is in a room with one of the girls that he was flirting with, right? And they're just having a good night.
They're just chilling.
Again, it's like they're playing so useless. They're not necessary whatsoever. Like, I don't understand why they're here. Stupid. And like to save us a lot of like describing a bunch of like uninteresting stuff. Basically, the spawning is about to happen, and then the spawning does happen. It's supposed to be like probably one of the most climactic scenes of the movie. So boring.
I was genuinely upset about this.
Yeah, honestly.
So, to paint a picture for you, a very drab, boring picture.
They're walking towards the water saying, "We want fish.
Yep.
We want fish." They're a cult. They're so weird.
But no one cares.
No.
Like, the looks on their face are boring. The music is so, like, quiet and just very background noise.
Like, this should be the most energetic scene of the movie.
What I wanted was, like, intense shots. Like, give me, like, overhead shots where you can't really see the water. Don't show me the bubbling. Show me, like, the people walking towards it where I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Give me, like, intense build-up music. Not this, like, same tempo, same speed, same volume music behind
so
them
anticlimactic the entire time. Everyone's just running from fish. There is absolutely no tension in this movie whatsoever. It's just shots of people catching fish puppets that were like tossed to them from off screen. It was too stupid.
It felt very, very boring. It felt like an acting class where they were teaching people how to catch things on camera.
And the fish fly so slow too. Yes. Like they're not even in the water, they don't seem that fast, but even on in the sky, I guess they fly so slow so they don't feel like much of a threat. There's even there's a showdown between the TNT guy and one fish for like a minute, he's just sitting there swatting at it and missing. It's like flying in a circle in front of him.
Yeah.
And it's so boring. And then suddenly 2 more show up and they get him. And it's I feel like that was supposed to be like a memorable death, and it was like one of the worst in the movie. It was just so boring. Yeah. He just like is dead. Like, oh dang, I guess the fish got him. Shoot.
Ah, darn.
It's so stupid. So yeah, the kids who left the boat earlier are now kind of lost at sea. And I think the only purpose that this serves in the movie is that Mommy Weaver and Tyler are the ones who are like, okay, we're gonna go and plant the charges on the ship. Yeah. Because apparently Tyler mentioned that like there was a nest of piranha eggs that was dropped there. That's why he's
4
here.
Nests. One of them
is there, exactly. So he knew about it. Which it doesn't. I don't understand why they think that plan is going to be perfectly effective, because why do they think all of the fish are going to be centralized around that boat, right? Clearly, we've established they're on land at this point. On land. They're all over the place. You can't get all of them with one big dynamite explosion.
Maybe they assume they're all going to go home for dinner.
Yeah.
But wait, they're having dinner.
I guess
home for coffee. They're going to go home for afternoon tea. Because it's probably afternoon by now.
It was just strange to me because, like, I don't understand why they thought that was going to be that effective. But anyway, I feel like the kids being lost, the only purpose it served was to get the cop out of there.
Yes.
So that they could have some way to get them out later. So yeah, like, literally the only purpose was, like, the cop's like, I gotta go get my son, you know, I have to go save him. You guys go and blow up the boat. I'm gonna go rescue our kids.
Yeah.
That's felt like its only purpose was just to get him out of the picture.
Yeah.
So they had 2 people instead of the 3, right? So then 6 hours suddenly pass. It's morning time.
Yeah. And
what were they all doing? Because the spawning was specifically at midnight. We know that much. And then it's morning, and it's like 30 minutes until the blast is supposed to happen, right?
But again, I thought it was the middle of the day.
Yeah.
It looked like it was like 2 in the afternoon, which it probably was. Mm-hmm. And yet the alarm clock said 6, and they were like setting all the bombs inside the wreckage. And we were the whole time like, what if they had slept in?
Honestly, though.
What if they had like gone to bed and like woke up at 6:30 when the bomb went off?
Like, oh shit! No! There's no snooze on this one.
Except for you're gonna be swimming with the fishes.
That's pretty good. Remember Suspense? This movie's never heard of it. Never, ever.
I haven't either.
There's a very untense scene of them going through the whole wreckage of the boat and putting just random charges throughout it. I'm like, where are the fish? How are they not getting attacked right now?
And then remember the super scary, super tense part where she goes into like the air vents and the fish are like chasing her through the air vents, but she's just kind of swimming normally.
Yeah.
And then there's just like another shot separately of the fish flying.
Yeah, she is not. She has no haste in her swimming whatsoever. She's just like swimming at normal speed.
This woman's just swimming.
Also, there's one really funny bit to me where there's a shot of like her looking through like one of the windows of the boat and the piranha are flying past it, and there's one that turns to look at her with the front of its face. I'm like, fish don't do that. No, fish don't look with the front of their heads. That's so stupid.
I have a theory.
Yeah, what's your theory?
I have a theory.
As you always do.
I haven't had one in a while.
It's been a minute.
I just stopped having theories.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my theory. Mm-hmm. The fish in this movie don't use their eyes to see.
Oh.
Okay, so, like, don't fish... I would have to ask if someone smart, like, maybe science. I think
like a science guy, yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably ask him later. Mm-hmm. Now, don't fish, like, see with, like, the refraction and the reflection of the water through their, like, eyes as, like, prisms or something like that? Yeah. So, that's probably way off. But...
Sounds right to me.
But these guys are, like... These are, like, genetically modified fish, right? They probably see with their brain.
Oh,
there it is.
So he's pointing his brain at her, is what you're saying.
Okay, continue.
So it's funny, they're mutant fish, but they can't get through like a single vent grate. It's so crazy to me, just because like the 2 of them, so it's Tyler and Mommy Weaver, they get into the vent, they close it up behind them, and there's a decent amount of time where the piranha are just trying to like get into it. Eventually they do, and yeah, they're just not fast enough. I'm like, these things have to be way faster than that. I don't understand. But then we go back to the most like infuriating scene in this movie for me personally. So we're back to the dad. He's on the helicopter. He finds his kids in the middle of nowhere. They weren't even that lost. No. They're like, I see lights over there. We should go towards that. I'm like, you guys aren't even that far from civilization. You're so dramatic for no reason. And so I wrote here, the point of them is just to get the dad away from the action. So he finds his kids. They're on a boat. And what does he do to get to them? There's a boat. I think it's the boat of the two nude girls who got killed. It's just abandoned there. So instead of like finding some way to land the helicopter or just like putting it into the water, he just jumps out of it.
Yeah.
And so he goes one way, the helicopter goes another way, and just fucking explodes in the ocean.
Yeah.
It was the most reckless thing I've ever seen. Like, he has no way of telling which way that helicopter was going to fly. It could have easily landed on the boat of his son and that girl that were, like, directly beneath him.
I mean, it was a good, like, 5 feet away.
Yeah.
It could have easily hit one of their heads off.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's just, like, the
intense.
most action-packed sequence for no reason whatsoever. He's like, oh, here I go. Shoo, and he just jumps out of a helicopter into the ocean.
Do you think that, like, in the production of this movie, they're like, okay, we have really low budget. We gotta just get things.
Yeah. They just wanted to have an explosion.
We need to get things to explode. So they, like, contacted, like, an army base or something. They're like, yeah, we got this old helicopter.
We can blow it up for you.
Go ahead and blow this thing up, yeah.
It's just nuts. And that was the most powerful explosion in the movie. Because later on, spoiler alert, they blow up the boat, and it's kind of boring.
It's very boring.
Yeah, so basically, I wrote here, they're taking their sweet time, and they're being pursued by killer fish. Tyler gets caught.
By fish.
Tyler gets caught by the swarm of them, so it's like, oh no, he's not going to make it. So then, Mommy Weaver makes it out, and then the cop dad is above them with the boat. He's got an anchor on the ocean floor, right? So he starts driving away. He's like, we don't have enough time. I hope this works.
Oh, it's so stupid.
And she just catch a ride. She just grabs onto the anchor and he pulls her away, which I don't think that's how anchors should work. You can't just drag an anchor like that.
I mean, no.
But that big explosion felt so lazy. The helicopter was more exciting and it made no sense. Yeah. And then, oh no, Mom's dead. Oh, But wait, she's okay.
Yay, she's cool. Tyler's dead, though.
And then they just hug. Yeah, Tyler's just dead, and nobody really cares about that. He blew up in the boat. Because, like, when he was got by the fish, it didn't seem like he was quite dead yet. They got his leg real good. Yeah, then he blew up, and like, okay. And then they all just kind of have this, like, family hug, the three of them, and then the movie just ends. It's just over. So, the movie was a lot. It was a lot happened somehow. Yeah.
So the way I describe this movie...
Talk about how you describe it, because it's so great.
This is how I describe this movie. So, it's like a table of ingredients. You got your eggs, you got your butter, you got your flour, you got your sugar, you got brown sugar, right? You're like, okay, I'm definitely making cookies.
Yeah, you can't tell he's a culinary genius.
You shut up. You can tell that these ingredients are going to turn into cookies, right?
Yeah.
And you're staring at them, and they start to move, and then somehow the cookies are made poorly, but they're made. And you're not really sure how.
Yeah. You're just like, and you've been sitting there looking at it the whole time.
You've been watching it.
You're like, I'm looking at these ingredients, and somehow they're a cookie now.
Somehow they're a cookie.
Not a great cookie, but they are a cookie.
No, it's like a cookie from like SpongeBob or something, where there's like toenails sticking out of it and eggshells sticking out of it, right? It exists as it's what it was designed to be.
You look at that, you say it is a cookie, but you don't understand how.
So if you give a piranha a cookie...
If you give a flying piranha, ingredients to make a cookie.
Yeah. And then, one second.
Yeah, come in.
Hello, yes, it's me, Science Jim.
Oh, Science Jim, hey.
Yes.
We were just talking about you. Are you always on the other side of that wall?
Yes, I live on the other side of this wall. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, yes, enlighten us, please.
Yeah, so fish's eyes work. They work because the light sensors of the eye have light that passes through the pupil and then focuses on a retina.
You good? Science is so funny to you, huh? Science is comedy.
I'm leaving. I know nothing about fish. Okay, here's the thing that just happened.
We've gotten such an informative podcast now.
Here's the thing that just happened.
What just happened?
So, Science Jim, he was feeling a little down.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to talk about something this episode. And I was like, okay, how about... I texted him, was like, hey, how about... That's my typing sound.
Yeah.
How about you talk about eyes of fish? And he's like, oh, I know a ton. Let me Google it real quick. He Googles it. He doesn't find anything. So he just tries to read some random article.
And it's nothing.
And it was nothing.
Oh, my God. So let's talk about our expectation results now the Science Gym is out here.
Oh, wait. I need to add something quick. Another source for info in this episode was sportsfishingmag.com.
Sportfishingmag.com. Oh, my God. That's so funny. What? Did you have any jump scares listed for this one?
Okay. I tried to search this, and there were apparently no jump scares in this movie. Which I
didn't notice any. I can hardly call it a horror movie.
I think there were two. I think it was when the fish happened out of the chest burster fish.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And then also when she finds that guy's body the first time in the water.
Oh,
that was
there's a bit of
a little bit of a
stab there, yeah.
But there were 14 kills in this.
It's actually not as many as I thought there were going to be.
I thought there were going to be a lot more as well. And
especially considering the beach full of people.
Yeah, but only like 3 people died.
So again, such a waste of what could have been a good scene.
It really just like... lowers the like fear level.
Honestly,
right?
that was already pretty low. So for me, my expectations, I thought it was going to be an outrageous campy movie. I mean, yeah, pretty much, right? It was pretty outrageous, but at least like campy movies are fun, and this was not fun. So I don't know if I could call it that. I thought there was going to be, you know, worse than the worst acting and writing. The actors did their best with what they had. Well, I mean, most of them did their best, not all of them. And what they had was a horrible script. So yeah, that writing was, that was bad. Was rough. Vibes of a cult classic. There's probably some weird following around this movie, especially with Cameron's like later successes. Like I feel like some people will come to watch this one, but not as much as I wanted it to be, honestly. Just weird fish. And then practical, terrible piranha. I mean, yeah, they were practical. Not very great piranhas, especially the way they were used. You could definitely tell how they were being puppeteered, but I appreciated the effort.
Yes.
I like that. I didn't write that much for surprises, honestly. The only surprises I had was like the gore in this went way harder than I expected. I was pretty impressed with the gore that was in it. And then just another thing that surprised me is like introduction to 15 characters that never even matter because we stuck to the same like 4.
Yeah.
It's basically all I had for surprises. What about you? What'd you have?
Bad fish effects. Oh, yeah. They were stupid little puppets, right? Campy dialogue. Kind of. It was kind of campy, but it was like worse than campy. I feel like once you cross the line, it's just bad.
Yeah.
And again, that it was the writing, not the acting. The acting was actually fine.
Yeah.
Underwater scenes by Mr. James Cam. Yeah, so like the only cinematography that I was even remotely interested in was the underwater.
All the underwater shots that all look like they were shot in the day, no matter what time of day it was.
I mean, that was and that was the lighting team. You know, can't blame Mr. James Cam.
Yeah. I mean, I get it that you can't really very well light a scene underwater in the dark, but like you gotta figure something out.
I mean, he did it in his later movies. Maybe this was a test.
Yeah. Piranha 2, The Spawning walked so that Avatar: The Way of Water could run.
So Avatar: The Way of Water could swim. Please.
You're right.
Please. Gratuitous nudity. Yeah, there was any nudity in this movie was gratuitous.
Yeah, it was nowhere too.
It was unnecessarily. It was there. Outlandish gore. Yeah, it was just all obviously fake, but like decent effects.
Yeah,
like they were decent puppets and stuff, but they were so obviously fake.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like they looked cool for like if I saw that at a Spirit Halloween, I would be very shocked.
Right.
Surprises. I didn't hate the main character, Anna. I didn't hate her. I thought she was fine.
Yeah, she did well as a discount Sigourney Weaver.
I don't know. I'm surprised at how little surprises I had.
Yeah, that was me too.
All right, what was your score?
For me, I wrote horrible, but I kind of want to change it to boreable just because I forgot just how bored I was this whole time. And I wrote that it was so boring, and any tense situations could not make me feel tense in the slightest. You know, from the writing to the slow movement of the puppetry, it was just horrible. 5% well deserved, in all honesty.
Absolutely.
This is one of the first times that I've sat there and been like, yeah, it kind of really deserved where it sits right now. I'm sorry, guys.
For me, this is definitely boreable. It wasn't bad enough to be funny, and it wasn't funny enough to be bad. Like, funny enough to be good, you know what I mean? Like, I was just finding myself bored at the moments I shouldn't be bored.
Yeah.
And that beach scene really, really took the cake
Such a disappointment to me. So, that's where we stand there.
What is that ominous flopping I hear?
Count Trivia, were you holding your breath that entire time? I thought this would be fun if we were underwater.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Count Trivia, you filled the office with water. What are we supposed to do with this?
Splash.
What are we doing?
Splash. Hey, wait.
I think I got some water up in my nose. Take these. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Count Trivia.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up? These cards are wet. I don't want to hold. Do you want to hold these?
Wet. Ew.
Yeah, take them. What did you want to say?
I'm going to ominously flop them on the ground. I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Can vampires breathe underwater?
I don't think he needs to breathe at all.
No, that's the thing. Okay,
it's a part of the joke. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
He's
Thanks,
funny. He's getting into the comedy of it. So here's my trivia
for me.
Trivia given to me by the wonderful Wet Count Trivia. I actually did not find a lot of interesting things about the making of this movie. All of them encompass the same one story about James Cameron's actual involvement in this movie. But the first bit I have, it says, in an interview, James Cameron said, this movie gets better about halfway through when seen at a drive-in with a 6-pack of beer.
Yep, checks out.
That sounds right. So, I'll give you a little bit of like what I actually got from the trivia here, but like the long and short of it is like he actually is not technically the director of this movie. He did not get to work on it that long before he was basically replaced.
Oh.
And was not able to remove his name from the movie.
Oh.
So in his eyes, he considers like Terminator to be like his first actual movie that he like directed, because he can't necessarily say this one was.
Right.
So I'll read it here, a quote from him. So he says, "I was replaced after 2.5 weeks by the Italian producer, the one, the tits one. What's his name?
Astitz?
Yeah. He just fired me and took over, which is what he wanted to do when he hired me. So this seems like this was always his plan. It wasn't until much later that I even figured out what had happened. It was like, oh man, I thought I was doing a good job. But when I saw what they were cutting together, it was horrible. And then the producers wouldn't take my name off the picture because contractually they couldn't deliver it with an Italian name. So it seems like the idea the whole time was to have this dude direct it, but they needed an American name attached to it. Because again, contractually, they were not allowed to deliver it with an Italian name on it, which is so weird to me, right?
That's wild.
So they left me on. No matter what I did, I had no legal power to influence him from Pomona, California, where I was sleeping on a friend's couch. Because you have to remember, this is like early Cameron. He had like no money. Yeah. He's like, I didn't even know an attorney. In actual fact, I did some directing on the film, but I don't feel like it was my first movie.
No, yeah.
So kind of wild, right? It's like really surprising to me.
That's insane.
James Cameron had come to Rome to see the film's post-production, but he had spent his entire advanced salary on the plane ticket. With no money for food, he just snatched leftover rolls from the dinner trays in his hotel. Due to the exhaustion, and now, this is the best part. This is the best trivia that I have, okay? So, due to the exhaustion and malnutrition, he grew ill with fever and had a nightmare about a metallic torso emerging from an explosion and dragging itself over the floor with kitchen knives, which gave him the idea for Terminator.
What the hell?
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
So this shitty experience of him being like completely without money, working on this terrible movie, led to the idea for Terminator from 1984.
What?
That's nuts to me.
That's bonkers.
It's hilarious to me though. I love that.
That's so
But yeah,
cool.
so he basically he's really tried to like write off this movie. He swears it off. He doesn't have any love for it whatsoever because it was a shitty situation for him. So yeah, he technically directed this one. So it makes more sense knowing how terrible this movie was.
Yeah, like a lot of the directory. A lot of the directing in this film it didn't make sense.
No.
It didn't make sense by him. So that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, so what's next week's movie? I believe it was your choice here.
Yes, so my friend Lauren recommended that we watch Maximum Overdrive, 1986.
An adaptation of like a Stephen King story, I think?
Yes.
I know nothing about it other than like the fact that every shot I've seen from it is a big semi-truck with like a giant mascot head of the Green Goblin on the front of it. So catch us next week and we'll figure out what that's about, because I know nothing.
And you know me, I'm a sucker for Stephen King.
Yeah.
I love Stephen King.
I'm a sucker for stupid 80s movies, so it's got a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's what we're working with here.
That'll be good. So I'm actually going to go for a dive in the middle of the day, even though it's the middle of the night.
I mean, we got an office full of... Oh, okay, look at him diving.
So in the middle of the night...
He's beautiful.
What?
You're swimming around. You're in the water.
Thank you.
Yeah, you look gorgeous in there.
When you hear ominous flopping later, it's just me. Because nothing flopped more than this movie.
That's good.
We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.